I was very shy. I still don't know how to talk to people. I still don't know how to talk to women, including my wife.
This like tall Dutch dude who I never saw before walks in the bar. And of course I go straight up to him because I don't give a fuck. And like,
Being your whole life being the pretty girl. Would you consider yourself that? Like, I didn't.
when you go to Africa, you see, kids that are hanging out on top of garbage heaps, and they don't know when their next meal is going to be, and they've
And then
lived.
my grandma.
Yeah.
My
Oh, your
grandma.
grandma. Oh my God, she was an amazing lady, and yeah, I would be nice to people or men, and that would be considered flirting.
But I'm super excited because, dude, I thought you like died. I didn't know where you were. And like, because I know you're not always on social media, which is awesome, by the way. But I knew you were traveling, and I knew that's like risky, right? Like some of the stuff you've been doing, I can't wait to hear about it. But I was like, I actually tried to find Whitney, and I messaged her, and I was like, hey, have you heard from Tiffany?
Yeah. Yeah, man.
So I'm
Yeah.
glad that you're still with it.
Yeah, of course. You're not the only one. I get super incognito. Even the people that know me the best, like Whitney and Cody and my good friend Jameson back home, they'll message me several times, and I'll just like, if I'm not in the place or in the mood or in the frame of mind, oh yeah, I'll just ignore it. And they're such good friends of mine that they know that I'm okay. And if something wasn't right, I would definitely reach out. But I'm someone who takes a lot of time for myself, and like I'll process a little bit differently, kind of more in solitude. So yeah, that's just kind
Yeah,
of the person I am. So
you do your own thing. You're independent. It's been since high school, man, and it's crazy. I mean, I haven't really talked to you since then. I've seen you out. You used to work as a bartender on the square. Saw
that's
you there a
right.
couple of times. But what was your course after high school? Like, what did you do? Did you have a plan?
After high school. So I knew I was going to college because my mother did not make that an option. There was no, I think I wanted to hitchhike around the world. Uh,
Such a hippie kid. I loved it.
and my mom was like, absolutely not. And so I knew I was going to go to college, or that I would have to do that. I thought to myself, well, what would I like to do? And social work was really the thing that reached out to me. So, of course,
So good.
I went to UNT like a lot of us did. Or first, I went to community college because it was cheaper.
Yeah.
And then I went to UNT. And yeah, I wound up getting a bachelor's degree in social work. And I did my internship at a juvenile probation facility in Denton, the one
Oh
over there
wow.
off of McKinney, next to the
Yeah.
jail. So,
Yeah.
yeah, man.
Did you live at your mom's house for a while?
No, actually, I moved out a month after I turned 18. Like, I just went ahead and took that opportunity and ran with it. And I knew that I didn't want to live in the house anymore, and there was really nothing keeping me there. So I just decided to pack up my bags, and I left, and I went and lived with one of my first boyfriends, actually. Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's
Yeah.
so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you're just kind of doing after high school, doing whatever.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, yeah, I went ahead and bartended my way through college. That was a great way to earn some money and go to school at the same time.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I bartended all the way through my internship and worked my ass off. But yeah, I graduated in 2010, and yeah, I didn't want to do a master's because I thought the bachelor's was good enough for what I wanted, and so
Yeah.
yeah, I I look back at those times and I wouldn't do anything different. I'm so glad I got a college education because that was something that has always added to my resume and something that has pushed me into has led me to where I am today. So I'm super happy I went that route, but I definitely did not want to go to college at the beginning. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
No, that I love that. And if there's some people that end up listening to this that don't know who you are, your name's Tiffany, right? Tiffany. And so this is a lot of this is a business podcast for like entrepreneurs, but also not only just that, but interesting people that have interesting stories. And one thing is just seeing you travel. And there's a lot I didn't know about what you did after high school, so I want to figure it out. Like what your life was like, as much as you care to talk about, you don't want
absolutely.
to talk about stuff, but traveling the world, I can relate to at least a couple of times, and that's nothing compared to what you have. So we'll get to that. But growing up with your mom, you lived with just your mom, correct?
That's right. I was the only daughter of a single mother, which was not always easy. Not being from a two parent household, so that had its own challenges, but it definitely had its own rewards because it pushed us into a mode where we're highly independent. My mom was big on education, and we really learned how to do everything for ourselves instead of relying on others or even relying on family members. So we did everything ourselves, and so yeah, that really taught me how to rely on just myself in a lot of ways, and traveling and just life in general that came in handy. So
Yeah. No, was your dad around at all when you were younger?
no, my dad was out of the picture my whole life. I mean, my parents split up when I was 8 months old. So yeah, so I was, I didn't remember that time, and so yeah, you can't miss something you never had. So I don't see it as something that's a big deal to me because yeah, I just was never, I don't know any different. So
This is what you know. This is
yeah,
what it is. This is
yeah,
what life is. That's
exactly.
funny because I can relate to my way. Mine wasn't at 8 months, but mine was probably at 8 years old. And
Yeah,
it's like, it's not a sob story. I mean, I see where it affects probably part of my childhood now today, but it's not a substance. This happens.
yeah,
It happens, and
yeah,
you have to adapt or perish. You either learn from it or you repeat it, right? And
absolutely.
so that I've always kind of wondered and admired like how because I knew you were a worker, and I knew you were independent. I knew you didn't need help. Like I've known you for a long time,
Yeah,
so I'm like I bet she got that just from being. I bet she got that independent quality just from how she was raised.
yeah.
You watched your mom do it. So talk to me about the relationship between you and your mom because I used to love your mom.
Yeah, my
How
mom.
was it back then compared to now?
Um, well, yeah, my mom is she's kick ass, she wound up getting her PhD in environmental science, and she runs the city of Grand Prairie landfill. And she got Woman of the Year a few times, and she's big into Daughters of the American Revolution Club. She likes her little old lady club, and she's a real go getter. She really is. And we were always buddies, because we were all each other had when I was growing up.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of times where she was like my sister, and then like my mom, and so there was like kind of a dual type of energy in that relationship. But
Yeah.
yeah, my mom's a real kick ass lady. Yeah.
Yeah. Are you still pretty close to her?
Actually, we haven't spoken in about 3 years. Um, just because I think we reached a point in our relationship where it was changing from mother and daughter to kind of me having control of my own life. And I think that brought up some emotions for her in her past, and I think that we needed this time apart for sure, to get
Yeah.
to another point in our relationship, which I'm hoping is around the corner. I'm not pushing
Yeah.
anything because those things are sensitive and they take time on both sides, self growth on both sides. So yeah, I'm just waiting. I'm just waiting patiently for my mom to kind of come around to a point where she's comfortable with continuing our relationship kind of in a different way.
Yeah, and
So
I'm sure we'll get there, you
yeah,
know. And I'm sorry to bring up anything that's sensitive, and if you want to edit some stuff out, that's great.
I don't want to
But
edit
I
at all.
genuinely am curious,
Yeah,
you
no,
know.
no, I,
And
I,
people can relate, Tiffany. You know,
yeah,
people can relate because now you're not some young girl; you're an adult woman. And
that's true.
are you and her pretty similar?
We are very similar. My mother wired me exactly the way she's wired. So, yeah, we're very similar in many ways, and we're also very different in many ways. So I know that sounds conflicting, but yeah, I'd give it a 50-50 mix.
Yeah. No, that's great. I love that. So do you still talk to Whitney?
Actually, Whitney and I also haven't spoken in a few years either.
Oh,
Whitney went through a divorce, which we were really, really closer than ever. And then I think
yeah.
Whitney also needed her time to figure out what the new Whitney was going to be like after this divorce. And at that time, I was living overseas, and I was also kind of figuring out what my new life was going to look like as well. And so we haven't spoken in a few years either. I think probably for similar reasons that my mom and I haven't spoken. I think that
Oh, that's interesting.
yeah, but Whitney and we've been friends since we were 16. So we've gone through phases where we haven't spoken for a couple years, and we always come back to each other. So
Yeah.
I'm not really worried about Whitney because she's also a very strong lady. She's gonna figure out what she needs to in her own time, and I know we'll come back together. So I'm not too worried about it.
Yeah. I think it's so interesting, like when people have best friends, because would you say Whitney was your best friend?
Oh, hands down, hands down.
And it always is a balance. Like you guys are probably so different in certain ways, but also so similar,
Yeah,
right? And
yeah,
like, so I would say that my best friend, which, at this point in our lives, friends are very far and few between. You
yeah,
just have your family or your man or your woman or whatever, kids if you have kids. But it's crazy because you're almost like have to be balanced to have a long term friendship. And so
absolutely.
like you and Whitney, you were the crazy, like not crazy, but
Yeah, crazy is a good
extroverted.
word.
Extroverted.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
And I mean you can talk to anybody, you're friends with everybody, friends with the band nerds, friends with popular kids. And Whitney was more quiet, right?
yes, yes,
Yeah. And Whitney was like the ladylike, and you were like the little Barbie. That's you gotta have both. You gotta have both. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah. We were a dynamic duo, that's for sure. She was a huge support for me in high school. I mean, she was my rock and my best friend. So that kind of friendship is once in a lifetime, and I had it with her, and still do. Even though we don't speak, I still do consider that my best friend.
But what do you think? What do you think out of everybody that you knew, it was her that was so close and so special as far as where you guys were best friends versus other people?
I think Whitney saw me. Um, she reached out. She was the one who reached out to me first. And I think at that time, she kind of realized that I needed a friend. And I think she did too. And I think
Yeah,
those two needs kind of came together, and we completed a part of each other.
yeah,
And, yeah, and that's where it blossomed. And you spend enough time with someone, you really get to know them, and then you build these bonds that are just unbreakable. So, yeah.
Yeah, my wife, her best friend, it's almost I look at so if I look at her and I look at her best friend and then you and Whitney, and even though I don't know Whitney that much, so I don't want to
Yeah.
act like I know what I'm talking about. But from when I see you guys, you and Whitney from afar, it's like Lauren and her best friend. Like it's the same thing. It's like different personalities that
Yeah.
balance each other, different looks. Like one's the Barbie, one's more the lady, in the
Yes.
relationship.
Yes.
So it's just interesting. I've always wanted to ask you about that. So I wanted to talk about. So this is something I find very fascinating. So being your whole life being the pretty girl, would you consider yourself that? Like out of your friends, out of just
I
in high
never,
school?
honestly, no, I never really considered, I knew that if someone called me ugly, I would laugh, right? Like,
Yeah, yeah,
like, but I never thought I thought that there was people that were prettier and people that were not
sure.
or whatever.
So
So
you didn't have an ego with it. But my point is because some people are they're born blessed with really good looks. Was it challenging for you growing up? Like, did you get treated a different kind of way? Do you remember just having your looks?
absolutely, absolutely. And I mean, you get treated, it's funny even talking about this because you feel guilty complaining about something like this, right?
Yeah, yeah,
But there are obstacles and challenges that get presented to people that get tucked under this label, right? Um, and they
yeah.
get treated differently by men and differently by women too.
Yes,
So, yeah, there was a lot of times where I got shunned or, treated differently because of that. And so, I'm not.
if we're a regular woman, I'm just saying an average looking woman or guy too, does not get treated that way because this is what I remember reading about or hearing about this, and it like in my mind I always think deep into things, and it's like the pretty girl gets the worst of it all. So like you'll have men who are insecure who think that they can't get with you, so they'll immediately treat you like crap.
Absolutely.
And then you have the women that judge you because you're the pretty.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I remember like I've always been like you said, like an extrovert, and I've always been very I'm a nice gal, My grandmother, I got that from my grandmother. She would talk to, strangers and give people compliments, and she was just a nice lady. And so yeah, I would be nice to people or men, and that would be considered flirting, you know?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I just thought that that was so unfair because it meant that there was a whole group of people that I could never be nice to because
Yeah.
it would be perceived in a certain way, and I could either I was or I wasn't, a lot of times I just was being me and there
Yeah.
was, that would be completely judged, that was a no-no.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. So you have men and women that hate on people like you for no reason. For no reason that the average person wouldn't get.
that's
It's
true.
crazy to think about that.
Yeah, it is crazy to think about that.
But it shows you the balance in the world. So like, the better looking people, they have that some people never think about.
That's
That
true.
they don't ever get to experience. Then you have the people in the world that are blessed with looks, but maybe personalities. They don't have to deal with that.
True.
It's a balance.
True. That's one reason why and I know it sounds fucked up, but that's one reason why I love getting a bit older is because I
Yeah.
don't have that, I'm not in that category, that striking category anymore. And I'm so happy because I get treated like like a normal person now. So it's like,
Yeah.
it's so great. I love getting older and I love having
Which is
goals
so
and
messed up, by the way. It's like, I'm sure there's some you want to feel like pretty, and it's like, you
yeah,
know, I want
absolutely.
to go back to high school, Tiffany, when I was a freshman in high school. So I would say when I came into seventh and eighth grade, we moved a lot. You know, this is probably the most traumatic time of my childhood when my mom was like, you know, she's just going through her stuff.
Yeah.
And us kids were tagged along. Now I look back in hindsight, and I realized that I went through a lot of trauma. And so it was seventh and eighth grade where I had totally different lives, moving across town, making new friends. And so seventh grade, I went to Strickland, and it was a hardcore school. I'm
Yep.
talking about, I
Yep.
went from sixth grade innocent to seventh grade. You have people that are, you know, kids that are 11, 12 years old.
Yep.
They're trying to figure out you're a man or a woman, like you're trying to figure things out.
Yep.
And I remember Strickland toughing me up, man. I was this fat little chubby kid. And I didn't have, you know, I didn't have my dad, and not a sob story, but I didn't have that direction from a man,
Yeah.
like how to treat a woman, how to talk to a woman, how to do this, how to be a man
Yeah.
and be tough. And
Yeah.
I'm not blaming anything, but I look back and I'm like, I struggled.
Yeah.
And one of my mom's boyfriends at the time made me play football. Played football, it toughened me up. I got my ass kicked. And I fell in love with football. There's a lot I learned. But seventh grade and eighth grade were tough. So coming into ninth grade, I was trying to find my identity. I was hanging out with Corey, my brother, still today, my best friend.
Right.
And, you know, so his friends became my friends. I was very shy. I still don't know how to talk to people. I still don't know how to talk to women, including my wife. It's funny, but I didn't know, like, I was so just trying to figure things out. And I remember being a freshman, it's like you see the popular kids, you see the pretty gals, and it's like, oh, that would be great, right?
Yeah.
And, you know, I didn't know what I was wearing or anything. I was friends with a lot of the band kids because of Corey, all great people. And then I was playing football, so I was kind of transitioning, getting to know some of the more popular kids, trying to figure out how to manage it. I remember you were one of the first pretty girls to befriend me, and I couldn't even imagine what I was like back then. But I do remember walking with you in high school in the hallway because we're friends and
Yeah.
we're talking. You're the only pretty girl that I knew at the time, and I know a lot of other kids too think the same thing. But I was walking with you in the hallway, and then some of the football guys, they came up to me after. They're like, "Dang, you're walking with a hot chick." So you kind of helped get me in with the boys. So it's so funny. It's so funny. And you're over there just trying to be kind to people, but you're really helping somebody like me become a freaking man, you know?
Man, that really, I'm glad you shared that, man, because like, yeah, we were really close. I remember, we used to just like, I mean, we were buddies. We used to just talk on the phone for no rhyme or reason,
Yeah.
you know, and we would talk about
Yeah.
how we felt about like our family situation or what we were going
Yeah.
through. And I remember that our lives had a lot of similarities at that
Yeah.
point.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And so, yeah, man, you were my buddy, bro. You were my
Yeah.
buddy.
And I transitioned. It was more of sophomore year. I remember I had like no friends because I was going from the band circle to the popular circle. I wasn't cool with the popular circle. You got to look at it as our tribes,
Yeah.
right? Because that's what we are. We're like, in nature, we're part of tribes.
Absolutely.
And I was stuck in the middle, man. And I alienated myself because the band people saw me go hang out with them, but I wasn't quite in there. So it's just crazy to look back. And there's a lot of things I look back and I'm like, you know, I was kind of douchey at one point in my life. And I realized why. Like people I was hanging around, just the insecurities and stuff like that. But I've always felt in my heart, I have a lot my dad, which my dad has built a great family in California. You know, super proud. Even though he could have done better with me, it happens. He did so good with. He has two daughters, so I have two half sisters, which we're all pretty close now, and he has a good family. So it's just cool that he to watch him now with a good life, something to look up to. But I've always felt I've had some of him in me, and then my grandma.
Yeah.
My
Oh, your
grandma.
grandma. Oh my God. She was an amazing lady, and she just like picked up the ball that was dropped and she just ran with it. And you two were huge, were so close, and you loved
Yeah,
your grandmother immensely. And
she was my mom,
yeah,
basically. Yeah.
yeah,
So yeah, she was great. She had that long hair,
she sure did. A braid down her back, bro.
braids down her ass crack,
Yeah, she was an amazing lady. And
driving that tank, man. You remember that
yes, I
shit?
sure do. I sure as
Bro,
fuck
she used
do.
to roll up to high school in that thing, and I would hide. I'd be like, nah, man, I don't know who that is.
Yeah, man. Yeah, but she loved you so much. She loved you so
Yeah,
much.
she's a good lady, but she was the backbone of the family, man.
Yeah,
So it sounds like your mom was
yeah,
for you, right?
yeah. She
Your
was.
grandma too.
My grandma was a huge, so my grandmother was also a huge part of my life, a big caretaker. So I would say when my mom was in school and working, it was and that was a lot. That was
Yeah,
my grandma was taking care of me. So yeah, we both have very deep ties to our grandmothers, and
yeah.
they're
No, that's great.
the best.
What are you What are you doing now?
Yeah, okay. So now I live in Oregon. Now I live in Oregon.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
How the fuck do you go from living in Africa to Oregon?
Well, I was traveling in Africa for 5 weeks, and then I went to Thailand, which I was like gonna meet up with you, but then I got so fucking deathly ill for 7 days in
Oh my
Phuket.
god,
So yeah, that was crazy.
that was Tracy. We were there at the same time, by the way. But go ahead.
Yeah, it was. All right. Yeah, but I was living in the Netherlands for 7 years.
So how did that start? How did that happen?
That happened. Well, I was working in a bar, Andy's. You know Andy's,
Yeah.
like on the square. And this like tall Dutch dude who I never saw before walks in the bar. And of course I go straight up to him because I don't give a fuck. And like I just walk up to him and I'm like, hey, my name's Tiffany. I know everyone here. Who are you? You know, what's your name? And he's like, oh, my name is Stefan, you know, this weird ass European name I never heard of before. So anyway, we dated long distance for a couple years, and I was working at a bar, a fancier bar at the Adolphus Hotel in Dallas, and living with a bunch of AmeriCorps students. And so I was just kind of living my life, and being a bartender, you can kind of pick up and travel, and that's kind of an international thing, you know?
Yeah.
So I was like, well, why not just move across the pond and see how that works out? And so
Oh,
seven
that's
years
crazy.
7 years later, I mean, time flies. So yeah, yeah, it was a huge decision. I left everything I knew and all my friends and family and just took a leap of faith. And yeah, I learned a lot along the way. I traveled to 14 different countries in 7 years, so average 2 countries a year.
Were
Saw,
you with him the whole time?
huh?
Were you with him the whole time?
Yeah, actually, yeah, yeah.
Wow.
We had a 10-year relationship, and
Wow.
yeah, yeah. So that's a lot of time with one person, as you know.
Yeah. Well, now, I mean, for me, this is only 5 years, and that's a long time.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, yeah, man. It's you know, you get to know everything about that person so much to where they're family after that, you know, they're family.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I'll always love Stephen. I'll always be close to him no matter where we are in our lives. And I'm so happy I experienced those years with him as, you know, as a person.
Yeah.
And yeah, I love him to death. I miss the hell out of him, and we still keep in good contact. But I couldn't really live the rest of my life overseas. It's it's great and everything, but it's tough too. You know.
Why? What's tough? Is it the lifestyle?
Yeah. It's a couple different things. You've got a big language barrier. No matter how much you learn the language, you're always going to be a foreigner over there. And you know, here in
You're
America,
talking about no matter where you're at, right?
huh?
No matter where you're at overseas,
Yeah,
you're going to be a fool.
yeah, you're always going to be different. So you're always going to be an outsider.
Yeah.
So you can assimilate as best as you can, but I mean, that's always going to be a label you carry. You're going to be foreigner, outsider, and in some cultures that's not a good thing, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
So you can be the nicest person ever, and you can do everything right, like all the visa paperwork and trying to go where the locals go and learn the language. You can do all that, and still you're going to be an outsider for the rest of your life. So
That's interesting. I never thought about that.
yeah, it is interesting because as Americans, we can't really fathom that concept because when someone from another country or Europe or wherever comes to America, we're just like rolling out the red carpet and we're just like inviting them over for barbecues and we just want to learn
Yeah.
everything. So we can't understand the opposite way of like treating foreigners as, niet zo goed, which is not good, you know?
Yeah.
So
And you got that experience multiple countries that you went to?
yeah, well, the Netherlands especially, which is a crazy coincidence because that's where I lived for 7 years, but they have they're the densest populated country in Europe. So they've got more people per square mile than any other place in Europe. So they're just packed like sardines on top of each other. They have a housing crisis too because there's way more people than there are houses. So it's people are really crowded in there, and so whenever you're a foreigner, you're just like what? Like people have this mentality, like why are you here? Like
Yeah.
you're not really one of us, so you don't belong here, and therefore you
Yeah.
shouldn't be here. You know what I mean?
And then try to live your life based off of that.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So it's a trip, man. It's a trip and you really got to play some mental gymnastics with yourself because um a lot of expats and a lot of people that are even refugees and whatnot, they have a lot of mental health problems because
Oh, wow.
they're leaving their entire culture and immersing themselves into what for the first couple of years is kind of like chaos,
Yeah.
So, yeah, you got to be really strong mentally and you got to constantly remind yourself of where you came from and who you are. And that some days are easier than others, but some days are a real kick in the ass. So yeah, you got to be.
What were some crazy experiences in Africa?
Yeah, Africa is one of the most real, if I could consider, real motherfucking places I've ever been. I had never experienced like true poverty before because I had been traveling around Europe for a while. And Europe's a very wealthy area that's got a lot of history and a lot of colonization in Europe and a lot of old money in Europe. So when you go to Africa, you see kids that are hanging out on top of garbage heaps, and they don't know when their next meal is going to be, and they've live in shacks that don't have electricity and no running water. And I mean, that's real shit right there, And,
Where did you live at?
well, I traveled all across South Africa and I went to Eswatini and I went to Mozambique. So, we went all over the place, but yeah, the South Africa is still a place in this world where racism is very, very much a thing, and the separation between folks that are black and folks that are white is very distinct, very way more than I've ever seen it or experienced before. So yeah, that was tough because there's places that you go where you're a huge target if you're white, and yeah, it's a thing. It can get real dangerous there too for tourists. And
Did you have any? Did you have any scary experiences?
um, yeah, yeah, crossing the border in Mozambique was kind of scary. I mean, you have to go to an immigration office where the tables are leaning. There's the leaky roof. I mean, this is a government building, and the government building looks like a hellhole, And so yeah, we had a guy that was trying to stop our car. He had like an official vest on, but it was kind of like shady. You just gotta trust your instincts a lot whenever you're traveling. If you feel like something's not right, it's usually not. And yeah, we've had some people try and get in the car and flag our car down or punch a hole in our tires before, and so we've had some close calls. But
did you just find yourself saying, "What the fuck am I doing?"
yeah, absolutely. There's been a few times that I'm just like, what the fuck did I get myself into? But I think when you're traveling and you're going around, it's so important to trust your instincts. And that's really what's helped me out in a lot of sticky situations. And also just go into everything. I know it's easy to say, but with no fear. You don't know how things are going to work out, so you just got to play everything moment to moment. And just also, I mean, I'm not really. It would suck to die, but I kind of believe that like dying is probably not the worst thing, you know.
Yeah.
So I'm not really afraid of. Now I'm afraid of pain and I'm afraid of suffering, but I'm not afraid of dying per se.
Well, we're all gonna die.
Yeah, I mean that's yeah.
If we can do it without the pain and suffering, that's great.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll take it around it.
Exactly.
So I totally understand that. So out of all of your traveling countries, what's your best? You got to have the top.
Shit,
right?
man. Oh shit.
Is it Thailand?
I think Thailand, man. I think
So
Thailand.
crazy.
It was just going in and out of those temples, bro. And
Yeah.
you sent me some great pictures of what was it, like a moon party?
Yeah, it was the Lantern Festival.
Lantern Festival.
So I went with my buddy Aaron, man. He is single, so he doesn't have anybody to go with.
Yeah.
And he's a cheap ass. Like me and him, he's my balance, right? I can go travel with him and he's completely opposite from what I am, or a good balance. So going to Thailand with him was great. He only goes on deals. So the cheapest airline tickets,
Yep.
the cheapest hotels.
That's
but
how you do it.
He does his research and they're all nice. And I mean, I barely spent anything over there, to be honest, except for the plane ticket. The plane ticket was only $1,700.
Yeah, that's what's
which is not bad
No.
for that.
Yeah.
And
No.
then, we stayed 17 days over there. It was a long time for me. And I remember the travel there, I already talked about this previously, but the travel there sucked.
Yeah.
We don't have money for first class. But so it sucked. But when I got there, I was depressed. So I kind of had the getting out of the US lifestyle and culture and knowing that I was all the way on the other side of the world. And then, being away from my family too, right? Like I'm still secure here, but then I was in this foreign country. I have IBS, so my stomach's always hurting. It smells like fish in the streets and
Yep.
exhaust.
Yep.
And I literally for 4 days, Tiffany, I was depressed.
Yeah.
But I was so amazed. Like, I'm more adventurous than Aaron, so I'm like, Aaron, let's go do this. Let's go do this. Let's go to a Muay Thai match. Let's go do this. I always agreed that anything he wanted to go do, I was like, he wanted to do a cooking class. I was like, nah, bro, I ain't doing that. But everything else, it was amazing. I remember fighting with myself. Should I take out my phone and record it or witness it with my eyes? Because it was so great. Like we walked with elephants. I mean, that was surreal. We gave them baths. We went to that Lantern Festival. We took a bus like an hour and a half to the north of Chiang Mai.
Yeah.
Did you go to Chiang Mai?
Went to Chiang Mai. Yeah. Yeah. Also took one of those tours to like, it was like where 3 countries meet, Burma and a couple other different countries, but went and sailed down a river in Thailand. It was beautiful.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah. Elephants everywhere, bro. Like good food, like Thai.
You know how many people never get out of their hometown? And there's like a different world out there, man.
Yeah.
It's just, the Lantern Festival, Tiffany, was amazing. No alcohol there, which is great because it's so dangerous. But So we took a bus, went out, and then they have blankets all over this field. You get to eat food, so you go get your plate of food, you go sit Indian style in a field, and then they have fireworks going off. They had so much going on. And then you go and you sit around. There's a bunch of different seats, like thousands of seats, and you sit around this temple and they have like live performance with people dancing and music. And then fireworks start going off, and every seat around this temple outside has like a lantern. So like a paper lantern set up for you and your friend. And somebody comes around and walks around with like a light and lights the wick on each lantern. You set it up, and at one time, everybody releases them, and you get just a crazy visual.
Beautiful.
I mean, it was so cool.
Yeah,
So
man.
cool.
That's so awesome you got to see that, bro. Because, like, that's magical, man. Those experiences you never forget, you know?
Oh, it was just crazy, man. So in Thailand, what was some of your favorite cities?
I'd definitely say Chiang Mai was, because of all the temples, I really liked walking in and out of the temples. And that you get more of like, there's a lot of elevation up there. And also, I just loved renting a motorcycle. Everybody rides motorcycles around there.
Yep.
And
Yep.
yeah,
Tuk-tuks,
yeah,
motorcycles.
exactly. So, great way to just see the area. I love
Yeah.
I love Phuket, even though Phuket reminded me of the Vegas of Southeast Asia, you know. It was like, I mean, God forbid you have any type of solid addiction in Phuket because
Oh, yeah. See, I have an addictive personality, but I was with Aaron. Aaron's like the calm one, so I had
yeah,
to be a good boy. I'd be a good boy. But there was so much. We only went out like twice,
yeah.
like out, and it was just to witness everything. Your Facebook post was hilarious, and I still remember. I think it was your last Facebook post that you posted. So funny, dude.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I was like shocked. I was like, damn, I mean, really, you can just see and do anything. And like whatever you want. Whatever you
Well,
want.
it's crazy. So you walk down those streets and you can tell all those women have to be out there and bug you,
Yes.
catcall you to
Yes.
get you in their bar,
Yes.
right? And
Yeah.
even the guys were grabbing you. Hey, come on. And it's just, I remember looking at one of the outside bars walking by, and there's just a bunch of girls, who knows how old they were,
Yeah.
and just all dancing in lingerie, not
Yeah.
smiling,
Yeah.
just dancing. And I'm
Yeah.
like, it's just a different
It
world,
really
man.
is, bro. It blows your mind. It blows your mind. We went to a bar and we got a couple of I mean I asked for a couple shots of mezcal or something like that and they poured us these shots. And immediately after I drank it I was like, this is like watered down. Like this is unapologetically watered down. And I
Yeah,
said something to the bartender, which is this like Thai woman, and
yeah.
I said this, I was like, you know, this is watered down. You know it is. And she just started smiling and laughing. Like she doesn't give a fuck, you know, like, so.
She probably didn't know what you said.
Right,
Yeah.
right, right.
They all play video, or they all want to play games with you, like dice games, card
Yeah,
games.
absolutely. Absolutely. Man, that place is like a trip, bro. I'm so glad you got to experience it, man. Like,
Yeah. You want to hear a funny story? So
yeah.
when me and my buddy first got there, the first night we talked, we heard all about the massages, right? Like they're only like $5, and you can get a
Yes.
30-minute massage, $10, 30 hour massage. So I got on and we got a house call massage. Okay. I had no idea what I was getting into. Okay. And so these two girls show up to our hotel, and they're not like really good looking. They're older women, just kind of, not really done up well. And they come and we see them, and it's like, okay, whatever, we're just getting a massage. And we go upstairs and we go to our hotel room, and they're just kind of looking at each other because they had to go to the bathroom, and they stayed in the bathroom for a while. And I was like, my buddy Aaron's like, is this a regular massage? I'm like, I think so. And they come out they tell us to get on the bed, and then they want us to strip naked, and I'm already feeling weird because he's right here, and I'm like, shit. So I'm thinking, okay, this is just how it goes in Thailand. Sometimes you get naked at the massage parlor, and so I get the blanket, and I get naked underneath the blanket, and then they start massaging us. But then they asked, okay, the girl asked, she goes, hey, she whispers in my ear, you want sucky sucky?
No, no.
And I was like, no, man, no, no. I mean, right next to Aaron, and it was so funny. I said no. I was like, it's too weird. I'm going to tell everyone.
Bucket list material, bro. Just to be asked for a sucky sucky in Thailand. You already won.
Sucky, she literally said sucky sucky. I was like, I laughed. I laughed at her.
You're like, this is exactly how it is in the movies, bro. Like, it was.
I think I called Lauren the next day. I was like, Lauren, guess what? It was so funny.
Yeah, man, that's great. Bucket list material right there.
No, it was great. Everything, the culture, everybody was great. I think I ran into one room Thai person while we are there, and literally one person, because I can literally remember it only being one person. So it was a great time.
That's awesome.
And a great experience. But I don't want to keep you. I want to eventually talk to you more.
Yeah.
Okay? But I know you have a life, and I appreciate you doing this.
Absolutely.
What are your plans going forward? You're going to stay in Oregon?
Yeah, I'm gonna stay in Oregon for a while. I might be transferring to another position here at the resort. Possibly up for an event coordinator position, which will be nice. But yeah, I'm just gonna stay in, and I mean, I live right next to the river, bro. I get free access to hot tubs and saunas and yoga classes.
How long have you lived there?
I've only lived here for 2 months now.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're still just flying by the edge of your seat in your life.
Yeah, bro. I'm not stopping
no kids?
No, not right now. I don't think I could see myself right now with children, but I mean, I don't know I'm also getting kind of old, bro. So,
no, man, we ain't old. Hey, when you're 70 years old, you're gonna look back at this point in your life and wish you were back at this point.
That's true. That is true, man.
Hey, it was a good time talking to you, and I really appreciate everything.
Likewise,
so I want to stay in touch. Okay.
Absolutely.
I appreciate you.
Absolutely.
And then we'll be in touch soon. Okay.
Yeah, man. Back at you. Really, I really appreciate the invitation, and I did it because I think it's nice to talk about your story. I never talk about this stuff, and the questions that you asked me were so tailored to me, and they were so personal that I know you put a lot of thought into that, and it touches my heart, bro. I appreciate that.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I didn't just think of Tiffany just because I wanted a face on my screen. I mean, there's so many questions about what you're doing, and that doesn't mean you have to answer all the questions, but people genuinely are interested. So I put that little filter on Facebook because I use Facebook as my advertisement platform. It's where I have the most amount of connections.
Okay, yeah.
And a guy that edits my videos, I don't know if you remember a Charles Crosswhite, but he edits my videos. He goes by Chuck. But he goes, I see you're having Tiffany on. And he was like, I remember her. She probably doesn't remember me, but I don't remember her. So people want to know about Tiffany.
Damn.
Yeah.
Damn.
I mean, dude, you're an interesting person, man. Come on.
Thank you. I appreciate that's really flattering. I'm gonna go forth today with a big smile on my face. So
there you go. And we'll stay in touch. And really, I'm not going to bother your life, but I do want to be a friend. So
absolutely, man. Absolutely.
Okay.
I'm gonna have to get you and Lauren up here to the mountains and show y'all what these hot springs are.
Our neighbors, they want to move to Oregon. They're in Oregon right now, I believe, in a vacation. and they are sending us pictures, and they're like, you guys should come out here with us.
Yeah, man.
So maybe one time,
It's
because
beautiful,
I
bro.
hear it's beautiful.
Yeah, you got to see it
Yeah.
one day. Well, the invitation
Yeah.
always stands. Okay.
We'll make it happen.
Hell
So,
yeah.
all right, Tiff.
All
You
right.
have a good day, and I appreciate you. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely, man. You take care of yourself. All right.
Have a good day.
All right.
I'll see you.